Hello everybody, it's the 8th of March today, and 2025 I should say. For the most part this video is going to be of this tree last year, 2024, so we'll cut here and we'll just do a little bit of timey-wimey back in time, just back to this time last year. Hello everybody. It's the 26th of March today, and I'm going to start off this timey-wimey video from my Japanese maple Shigure, Amiga Shigure. I probably totally butchered the pronunciation on that. Purchased last year. It is a grafted tree, but the graft isn't terribly badly done, and so many of them you see these days have horrendous grafts that are so ugly. But anyway, the tree is growing away quite strongly. What I want to do is I'm going to take off one of these two buds here. I'm going to take off the stronger one, which may seem backwards, but I'm going to take off the strong one, leaving that one just to help fasten the trunk, and then we'll let the tree begin to develop its head. We'll come back later in the spring when I pinch it out. This tree was a little nursery stock, in a 10 centimetre pot, 2-3 inches pot, somewhere around there. There is a playlist which I'll link in the description, so you can click on that and go back and see this tree, well, in its stages from then till now. Okay, so my Amiga Shigure has been shooting out really nicely. I should have pinched it possibly, but I'm actually going to snip it. I haven't got my camera out. I'm just holding my phone with my left hand, trying not to jiggle it around too much. I might try and root some of these pieces, but I'll do that off camera. Okay, the keeper's decided to turn his back on you all, but never mind. Go! Let's get some set up now. As you can see, it's the 27th of June today, and as you can see, the tree is suddenly not particularly responding well. It's not growing gangbusters, as they like to call it. I was hoping for a little bit more spectacular growth. I was in two minds about whether to leaf prune this tree this year, given that it's only gone into this pot recently, but I think because it's not been growing strongly, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let it grow this year. Not that it's growing, but it's photosynthesizing and presumably is feeding its roots and putting on some stores for winter, hopefully. And so the best I can hope is that, well, there is a little new shoot coming in there. So stuff is happening, and yeah, not going to rush it. I don't want to lose it. Japanese maples can be finicky. Sometimes these posh ones as well, they can keel over at the drop of a hat. So it's the 15th of August, and this tree is stubbornly refusing to put out any extra growth and to do very much. I'm glad I decided not to defoliate it. That obviously would have been a mistake. It's grown, and I have the base for an interesting tree in the future. I think I might need to lose this branch that has grown this year into the wrong place, and I can't really see how I can wire it away from the trunk So yeah, but I'm not going to remove it today for obvious reasons. I think it'll just have to sulk for this year. Who knows, maybe it'll put on a spurt as we approach autumn. It's firming up in the pot rather nicely, which means it's putting on root. So I'm hoping that's just what's happening. The tree is putting on root, and therefore isn't bothering to put on much in the way of leaf, and that next year it'll decide is its time. We shall see. I am going to put on a single piece of wire. I think just whilst this branch is still really quite flexible, just to bring it down a little, not to put too much stress on the tree, just to help create a bit better branch spread. As I say, I think this will come off, but yeah, that's better. I'm wondering, do I want that to come out like that? No, I don't. Do I? No. I can't decide. You know what? I'm going to leave it. I don't want to put the tree under a whole lot of undue stress while it's obviously not entirely happy. And perhaps push it over the edge. I shall leave it be, and we shall see. Okay, so as you saw from all of that, this tree's been quite stubborn, and hasn't progressed anywhere near as much as I would have liked, and I'm going to do something about that. And I was going to put it into a double size training pot to give it some extra root room, but actually I've decided I'm going to put it in this rather nice green pot that I had for Christmas, which I think will set off the foliage quite nicely, and will still give it a considerable amount more root run, because it's almost double the depth, and a little bit wider in all directions. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But before I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of top work, and I've almost left it too late. Buds are beginning to swell, but not over much, so I think I can just about get away with it. So we'll bring you in a little closer. Obviously, what I don't want is the tree to bleed. I'm going to remove this bit of wire that should have done its job, and indeed it appears to have done so. And now I've got this area here, which I probably should have done something with in overwinter, as I say, rather than leaving it to now and risking the tree bleeding. But I'm going to remove that shoot, so I've only got 2 shoots there. I've also got three coming off this position. So I'm going to take off this one, which is coming outwards. Similarly here, and yeah, I'm going to shorten that. Okay, and that one. I don't want to do any more than that. So as I can see, none of the cuts are bleeding, which is nice. So I may have caught it in time. Pot is actually looking a little dry, so I'm going to give it, well, no, I think actually it's only the surface that's dry. Let's get it out of this pot and into its new home. Cooper's keeping me company. He's wearing his socks to keep his feet from getting sore, and trying not to be on camera by getting in nice and close. But yeah, still with us, ain't you, buddy? Still keeping me company. A good boy. Yes, you are. So because of its, shall we say, sluggish performance for last year, I'm going to try and disturb the roots as little as possible. I'm going to use my brush, clean off the surface some, remove some of these weeds, which not a great nabari by any stretch of the imagination. We do have a lot of round roots, which I want to. I'm going to end up pulling this root ball apart. There's no way round it, I don't think. So let's just bite the bullet. It's falling apart on me anyway, and take off these roots that have just gone around the pot. They're not helpful in the long run for this tree. As you can see, they're just going to be ever longer, giving the tree a lot further to pull apart and to pull up its own. It's terribly ugly. It's not terribly ugly, it's a graft, but it's a graft nonetheless, but I can live with it. Tempted to put a ligature there, but I've never had any joy with those, so I think I'm just going to pot it at the same depth that it was, and hope that this pruning will encourage it to throw out some new surface roots, or some new roots closer into the trunk, and hopefully some surface roots. Bring these screens in. This tree is not going to be top heavy, so I'm not going to wire it in. So I've said in other videos, I only do that with a top heavy tree. And this tree is, well, definitely not that top heavy. I'm going to stick with this as my front, even though the roots aren't really the best. The tree feels really brittle. I don't think I'm going to get much joy. I'm going to try and wire that. Okay, so I'm going to use some thick wire, which I'm going to do now before I put the tree in its pot, so that I can have more control over it, and also hopefully, obviously not pulling the new roots out of their settled in position in the pot. Just don't like that strange angle. That feels better. I don't want it dead straight either, but yeah, I am happier with that. And now I feel I can bend it down and up. That feels more comfortable. Almost like a what they call in fruit trees, they talk about pruning into a goblet shape. Well, it's pretty goblet shaped. The tree's not quite self-supporting, but nearly. So I just put something on the roots that side to hold it in place just long enough for me to grab substrate, soil, compost, call it what you will. And then that will help hold it upright. That should flatten the roots down. There shouldn't be any air pockets. I'm not entirely happy that it's leaning back, so I'm going to try and work it to prop it up a little bit with this rock, which will also, that's better, persuade it not to move around quite so much. And then lastly, I don't like the position of that branch now. I'm going to shorten that. Okay, let's give it a drink. Hopefully, when this tree wakes up in a few days' time, it'll barely even notice it's been moved. I hope. Anyway, it now has more room to get some roots out and possibly grow a bit stronger. I'm just going to let it grow unrestricted this year, and we'll see how it looks later in the autumn. There we have it. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing, comment below, but mostly, please, 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 stay safe everybody.